Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. The stock market celebrates the ceasefire news with a major green rally, but the after-hours rumors that the ceasefire is already broken. Bitcoin is starting to slide, leaving every investor wondering if this peace trade is a triumph or a trap. We are diving deep into the geopolitical data and the technical levels to see if the global truce can hold, so buckle up because we have a lot to cover.
JJ's got the keys to the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the mazes. JJ's cryptic corner where the coins keep turning. Log in now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow. Crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I completely fumbled the intro, which is really funny. I don't know what happened. I had a 150% brain fart. And now we are asking the ultimate question with the poll in the chat. Direct your attention and let us know your opinion. Is Bitcoin going to retrace all of its ceasefire gains? Your options are yes, probably soon too. No, up only from here. Yes, ceasefire violated, what the F, bro? Or no, they're using Bitcoin for fees. Let's get right into the market. Hey, what's going on, guys? We are back in the bunker. We had 1 day little reprieve from the bunker to get some fresh air, but we are back. The strait has been closed once more, allegedly. I'm not a scientist or an Iranian, so I actually have no idea. Let's get into the charts. Bitcoin currently trading at $70,767.95. Refresh the liquidation heat map and see where we're at. What's going on, T-Stew, Mr. Philly, Tony Rosas? How you guys doing? Don't forget to smash the like button on your way in. Doing something slightly new today. See if anybody notices. First person that can tell me what's new wins $5. We've got 70,688. We've got, that's about to get hit any second now. Jeez. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom just because I can. Right here, 67,971. Tom Salscout said, best opening song in the game. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll have to tell Zach that and he'll be excited. Professor Oak said, is it uppy time? I don't know. Philly said, politics, man, it's all just boring anymore. It really is. I agree, Philly. I 100% agree. 71,481. We could get into technicals, but those are boring as well. We're probably just going to migrate into reaction. 75,556. I'm going to put the middle in here too because there's a big juicy yellow middle area. I was shadow boxing, which I never do. 73,179. Trying to get myself hyped up for the stream. I'm shadow boxing, and no joke, I'm just being an idiot, and I go, and I pop my chair, and I shaved some skin off my knuckle. It hurt pretty bad. I'm gonna need some ice later, maybe a little Mampon. Get a little male hormone therapy, if you will. Anyways, Bitcoin $70,741.34. We're about to liquidate some bulls. The premature pumpulation is now officially over. Silver is down 0.32% after rejecting 77. Falling pretty harsh, actually, on these ceasefire broken rumors. It's already down almost 5%. Billy said, JJ, do you think we're already experiencing the bottom crabbing? Or another leg down? Tom South Scout said, my guy's a lover, not a fighter. I love with my fists. I'm just kidding. Not a good joke. Do I think we've already experienced the bottom crabbing? So here's my thing, Philly. I think we are in a very heavily news-based cycle. I would love for us to have bottomed already. I think it's going to be entirely dependent on the ceasefire with Iran. If Trump decides to do anything in Greenland or Cuba that isn't exactly what he did with Venezuela. Venezuela was bullish because it was one and done. Literally didn't even take a day. Nobody even knew what happened. He was like, we got a bunch of oil and we removed the dictator and there's no more bad things coming from that country. And everyone was like, what? That's awesome. Whereas Iran is like, oh, we're just bombing them every single day and we can't figure out how to fix these problems that we've created. That's a complete opposite situation. So if Greenland and Cuba don't happen, or they do happen, and it's a quick one and done overnight secret thing that we find out about later after we've actually achieved victory, whatever that may be, hopefully no casualties, then I think there's a chance we could have bottomed. I think that's also going to hinge heavily on whether or not clarity comes, because that has been shot down as well, and that was like allegedly good to go. And I think the government was like, no, we don't like this. So I don't know. It's all one big mess. It's all junk. Tony Rosa said, not rumors. These dummies can't stop bombing civilians. Yeah, everyone's stupid. Everyone involved is stupid. It's ridiculous. Yeah, we literally said that, Tony, last night. Tony earlier said these dummies already violated the peace treaty by bombing Lebanon. We were talking about that last night. As soon as everyone was like, oh my gosh, peace treaty. And, everyone was longing and the market was green. One of the polls that we did was, how fast is a peace treaty going to last? I think everyone just said it wasn't going to last long at all. Like it was going to end before the 2 weeks was up for sure. I personally was of the assumption that it was going to end within the first 24 hours because it seems like there's like 20 people on this side, there's 20 people on this side, and then there's like 20 people over here. Everyone's talking to everyone every which way, and no one's actually having a conversation with the same person. So then someone's like, peace treaty, and we're like, yeah. And then these people are like, we didn't hear about that. We're going to bomb these guys. And then these guys are like, wait a minute, you bombed us. And it's just one gigantic mess, and nobody knows what the heck's going on. It's ridiculous. This is what politics has been devolved into. I don't even know. 18 people trying to talk at once, and nobody actually knows what the heck's going on. It's ridiculous. Anyways, silver rejected 77. As long as we hold above 70, I'll be happy. We've been maintaining above 70 for a relatively decent amount of time. We lost 75, so I'm a little bit upset about that. We also got a confirmed red dot on Market Cipher, which has me mildly spooked, even though it's sometimes quite unreliable. It is what it is. Maybe it's an old wives' tale, if you will. Gold, similar situation, down 0.08% on the day, currently trading at $4,715.57. Since rejection, we're down about 2.5%-ish. Bearish cross over the moving average and the RSI. Let's see if we get a reaction, 47. If we hold above 47, that'd be cool. We also got a red dot over here too, though. DXY. Big gap down. Bounced off of 98.75. It's weird how the arbitrary numbers have relevance. It really is. If we can break below 98.75, there's a chance for the easy button investment to work out. As of right now, though, it looks like it got a pretty strong bounce. We'll see how we do at 99.5 if we reject that. Tony Rosa said, U.S. and the Puppet Master are unhinged. I'm tired of winning at the gas pump. I made a post about that on X when I first got gas after it all started. It was like $3.69, and I thought, now I think that that's cheap, which is insane. I actually think I just reposted that. It's like, I'm so tired of winning. I'm waiting to see the Trump I did that stickers, because we got all kinds of those during Biden's term. And gas is more expensive now than it was under Biden. So I'll take AutoPen if it means the pump's cheaper. Give me AutoPen all day if it means the pump's cheaper. Anyways, Dow Jones up 2.85% on the day. This closed before the rumor. Number go down. Yeah, number slip slightly. Number slip and fall. Possibly file a lawsuit. And you have to, worry about your insurance rate going up. That's what number do. Dow Jones, 2.85 in the green. We'll see what this looks like later. Let me check stock market after hours really quick. Not stream elements. That's the wrong thing. Stock market after hours. We've got minus 0.02, minus 0.11, and minus 0.19. It's not great, not bad. It's just kind of sloppy. Nasdaq, S&P. They look good, though, man. I mean, like, overall, if this just stays flat, the S&P recovered so hard. Nvidia's up 2.23. We got a lot of news today. A lot of news. So much news. Tesla's struggling. MicroStrategy, a.k.a. Big B Coffee. The reason it's called Big B Coffee is because Michael Saylor was actually sick. He had a debilitating illness. And the founder of Big B Coffee actually had a health and wellness clinic near Saylor's house. And they admitted him. And they administered some, I don't remember what it was called. It's some experimental cure for like the common cold, essentially. And they didn't even know if he had the common cold, but it actually ended up working. And he pulled through, and he ended up founding MicroStrategy. And here we are today. So he adopted their logo. Pretty cool. Tony Rosa said no rate cuts coming. I think that you are correct until at the earliest May. The reason I think that is because I think employment is in a lot of trouble. And I think Powell is genuinely concerned about employment. And it's a lot easier to print and just deal with inflation later than it is to go through like a depression. They give him Big D coffee. That's a good one. That's a good one. It's just vitamin D. They actually roast it in the sun, and the sun gives it vitamin D. So that's why it's called Big D. Anyways, strategy 127.40. Not bad, not great. We got our little short-term time frame inverse head and shoulder, which broke out and is currently technically retesting that breakout. So we'll see if that results in some upside. That'd be pretty cool. The green dot on Market Cipher is still relevant here as well. Bitcoin dominance 59.35, seemingly rejecting 59.5. If we do reject that and we get below 59 again, there's potential upside for our altcoins, but it's not looking great for the altcoins. This is looking very harmonic-y. Well, actually, maybe that'll break down. We might have to try to test 60 again. I don't know. Tony Rosa said it takes all the D. Speaking of that, the emoji that you used is actually meme coin that I am a fan of. And I actually have a piece of silver here. It is a 1 gram silver dong. Oh God, please focus. Can you see it? It's a eggplant emoji. And it is actually like 1 gram. Like proper silver. Hold on, it might be easier for me. I took a picture of it on my phone. It might be easier for me to show you on my phone. Can you see that? Yeah, check it out. Pretty sick. That's too bright. It's too bright. Teacher said, so if no rate cut right now on money printer go burr, where will interest go and next year's number go up? I don't know. If they're going to money print, obviously number go up. I've been reading and seeing a million things about money printer, reading and seeing a million things about a recession, reading and seeing a million things about all sides. So I have not placed my bets anywhere. I'm just dollar cost averaging into a long-term investment. It is huge. One gram, 1 full gram, an enormous amount. Everybody knows a gram is gigantic, especially when you're buying weed in high school. Okay. Bitcoin dominance. We talked about Bitcoin, $70,870.45. Are we going to lose the $70,000 level that it took us so long to break through? Rejection, support, break. Finally. I don't know. Did we hit that? We had to have hit that liquidation point. We bounced off of it pretty hard, though. There's really no bulls to liquidate. Yeah, even on the 24-hour time frame, looks pretty bleak. Looks like we could go all the way up to 75 if we're going to liquidate way the heck up there. That'd be kind of fun. If that was a scenario that was going to play out. I'm really not sure, though. We'd have to see Iran be like, oh, yeah, there's a ceasefire where everybody's friends again. We've got 70,492. 74.92. Tony Rosa said higher low. Yep, by 70K. Tom Salsco said. Teacher said, I meant where interest rates go even higher than right now. That I don't know either. I really have no clue. I wouldn't be surprised if they raise them just to really screw me. I'm never going to own a home. It's fine, though. Totally fine. ETH. Rejected 22.52. Let's see if we hold this purple trend line support. I believe that trend line goes back to 2020, 6-year-old trend line. It's important that we stay above that. It just looks like we're getting these repeating patterns, though, at this point, man. It's very sideways, choppy, boring nonsense. We got 2 red dots on Market Cipher on the 4-hour time frame for ETH, so let's hope that those don't play out. Solana rejecting 86. Let's see if we stay above 80 this time. We are slowly losing this 4.81%. Beautiful big fat green candle right here. Sad day for us all. Total free down 0.13. Rejected 720. Broke below 711. Let's see if we hold 700. ADA. Can't stay above 25 to save its life. Snack. Holding up better than ADA. Midnight. Not somehow. I'm being sarcastic. This is doing very badly. There's no way to sugarcoat it. This looks like crap. I'm not 100% sold on the concept. I might dollar cost average just on principle. I'm going to bring it up every single time. The welcome Binance wick right here. Call it what you will. Binance listed midnight and it went just completely blew out from the bottom. And that is the funniest thing to me. I was super stoked. I saw Charles posted the video. He's like, welcome Binance. And I was like, oh, sick. And I click on the chart and it's just like, bam. And I was like, oh, no. It was pretty comical. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty dang funny. XRP down 0.2% on the day. Currently trading at 1.34. I don't know. So the hope for this, for XRP, in my opinion, was around 135. The fact that we're below that, below the moving average on the R side. We see we had a green dot in Market Cipher too. That's what stinks. It's like squandering a decent setup. I guess if we don't hold 130, then I'm looking for 125 at that point. My $1 target's still not off the table, unfortunately. H bar, bottom of the range, SWE, slowly climbing up. It might have some hope. We got double green dot back here. Ondo. Boring. I got nothing good to say about Ondo. It's been a snooze fest. It's probably going to do really good because of that, though. Arrow. Arrow's got potential to hold a level here. What is it going to be? I guess 33. It really does. I guess I take back everything I said. Look for 32 to hold. 33 is way too arbitrary for me to put any stock into. Avalanche. Can't stay above $9 either. Chainlink can't stay above $9. Doge staying above 9 cents. Good for Doge. Still though, bottom of the bottom, looking pretty bleak. This number, I don't remember what it is. Oh, got a little pump here. This is high yield index. Interesting. Interesting that pump coincides with a little dump in the market. We need Mr. Lunar Entity to come back and explain to me like I'm 5 again what the heck I'm looking at there. Let's go take a look at the 10-year. This is usually what determines whether or not Trump is going to flake or not. Yeah, we got a beautiful little gap down there. That's filling right now. I'm not sure what they're doing right now. What the ceasefire thing is weird. It's all so weird, man. This is why you don't ever like go out as a trio, because there's always a third wheel. And right now, the third wheel is Israel, and they're causing problems. Tom Salkscoat said, I'm taking payments for going through the strait in BTC. Right. Tony Rosa said, flag, please. Tishu said, I know you don't know. You can guess if you want, of course. That's what we're all here for. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. All we can do is make an educated guess. Interest rates are so beyond me at this point. If they raise them, nobody's going to buy houses. If they lower them, mortgage rates aren't going to go down anyways, so I don't really see a purpose for interest rates because they have the money printer. So they should just print, get rid of interest rates. They're not fooling anybody. I think it's all fabricated. That's how I feel about interest rates right now. And I think Jerome Powell is a tool. I'm trying not to say swear words. Bitcoin mining. We talked about, we're going to the news segment now. We talked about Bitcoin mining. With Bitcoin mining basically having the facility, the electricity access, the internet access for AI infrastructure. The only difference is the hardware. If I'm an AI infrastructure company and I need buildings right now, I could approach you as a Bitcoin mining company and be like, hey, I want your building. I want everything in your building except for your miners. You can take your miners and F off somewhere. I don't care. I need your building. I need your access to coolant for all of my servers. I need your access to this crazy amount of electricity. I need your access for all of this. And I'll pay you a ridiculously large amount of money. Me, as a Bitcoin miner, goes, it's really not profitable for me to be mining Bitcoin right now. I'm going to take this deal. Cut me a check, mister. Let's make a deal. I shake the guy's hand. I get a big fat chunk of change, and I'm free. I don't have to worry about the price of Bitcoin anymore. That alone is going to make solo mining, in my opinion, more attractive. That's what I think. That's where I think we're heading. And more solo miners are scoring blocks, which is huge. We got 2 hours ago. This was yesterday. Another Bitcoin solo block has been found using only 72 watts on NerdQX++ home miner. That costs about $4.50 a month to operate. This person earned 3.132 Bitcoin, worth $215,000. That's pretty dang cool. 88 said most are already doing that, eh? The solo miners? Hut 8 has signed massive $7 billion 15-year AI data center deal with cloud provider FluidStack and AI lab Anthropic to lease 245 megawatts. There you go. There you go. It's happening right before our eyes. Solo mining becoming the norm. And you know what? I feel like it kind of should. That makes Bitcoin more decentralized, gives it back to the people, takes it out of the hands of the suits. I think that's really cool. So maybe we'll all just have Bitcoin miners. Kalshi posted 11 hours ago, Iran to reportedly require ships passing through the strait to pay tolls in Bitcoin. This one was good. Billionaires don't have bank accounts like you and me. They have art collections, yachts, mansions, stocks. None of it gets taxed until they sell it. So they just never sell it. They borrow against it instead, live off the loans, pay almost nothing. Then when they die, their kids inherit all the tax-free. The wealth never gets taxed. It just gets passed down. And we wonder why the gap keeps getting wider. Dang. Own assets, guys. Rob Paul posted, total global liquidity is rising. Global M2 is rising. U.S. total liquidity is rising. U.S. M2 is rising. China total liquidity is rising. ISM is rising. Try not to overthink it. Number go up. I'm just saying. Conjoined Chris posted. Meanwhile, this was pretty good. Watcher Guru 11 hours ago. Iran to require passing through Strait of Hormuz to pay tolls in Bitcoin. Conjoined Chris posted. Meanwhile, the gays of Hormuz require payment in Ethereum. That's pretty good. Jay Shear posted. Yo, sup, family. Watching for 20,000 feet on the way to Japan. Nothing better than long flight and JJ. Hell yeah, Jay Shear. Cheers, my friend. Hello, everybody else on the plane. If I'm on speaker, just give Jay Shear a weird, uncomfortable glare. And then try to, like, fart and waft it in his direction. That would be really funny if there was, like, a fee if you farted on the plane. Oh, this was pretty cool. You're on your way to Japan? Ask him about this. Massive geopolitical shift. NHK World confirms Japan has perfected a revolutionary process to extract high-purity lithium from dead batteries with a staggering 90% recovery rate. This brilliant technological leap guarantees Japan's absolute economic security. That was pretty sick. I was excited when I read this. We got a monstrous essay from the helter-skelter man-myth legend himself, Mr. Donald J. Trump. President Donald J. Trump, even. Based on conversations with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran, and I believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America, as President and representing countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to a resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. That is last night's news, yes. That was April 7th. After that, Bitcoin broke 71K. $160 million worth of shorts were liquidated. Crude oil crashed over 15%. Bitcoin hit 72K. We're back down to 70,500. So, as I always point out, whenever a price is reported by Watcher Guru specifically, it does not hold that price for long. Iranian Foreign Minister Domo Ariato Rabato announces safe passage to the Strait of Hormuz will be granted for 2 weeks. Iran and Oman to charge ships fees to pass through the Strait of Hormuz during 2-week ceasefire. That's a big boat, bro. 6.1 trillion UBS and 5 major Switzerland banks partner to test Swiss franc crypto stablecoin. Very cool. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Norman Osborn, Spider-Man 1. President Trump says any country supplying military weapons to Iran will face an immediate 50% tariff. Here we go again with the tariffs that he can't enforce. Saudi Arabia's east-west oil pipeline carrying 70 million barrels per day has been attacked. I'm pretty sure we joked about this yesterday. Kind of upset that I made the joke because now I feel like I'm partially responsible. Iran to require ships passing through to pay tolls in Bitcoin. President Trump says U.S. and Iran may launch joint venture to charge tolls in the Strait of Hormuz. 1.5 trillion added to the U.S. stock market today. I'm not going to lie, this one's kind of silly to me. How are we going to go in there and charge fees? We have no stake in any of the countries there, and we couldn't even protect the ships that were trying to go through there during the conflict. We have nothing to offer anyone to justify fees. I think that's silly. Spot Bitcoin ETF volume surpasses 2.4 billion today. I'm not going to read all these. There's a lot. We got BlackRock, Fidelity, Grayscale, Bitwise, ARK Invest, Morgan Stanley, Van Eck, Invesco, Valkyrie, Franklin, Wisdom Tree, and Hashdex. All made a lot of money. Very cool. Canary filed for a S1 Pepe ETF, which is pretty cool. However, it seems to have not affected the price at all whatsoever. Cool bullish news, but unfortunately the geopolitical conflict is overshadowing literally everything. We could have Satoshi himself, I don't know, what would Satoshi be able to do to make something crazy bullish from Satoshi? Jesus comes and says that he's Satoshi and he's never going to touch his Bitcoin, and nobody would care because of all the bullcrap going on in the world. 88 said 2026 amid heightened tensions in the Strait of Hormuz, very large crude carriers, VLCCs, are the largest oil tankers regularly in navigating the waterway, typically carrying 2 million barrels of oil. So there's 10 of those that haven't gone through every day for a month. Jeez, that's a lot. Marty Party posted, in my opinion, gold price doubled because gold is the bridge currency between USD and yuan. If Bitcoin gets a similar role, expect similar results. Morgan Stanley's MSBT Bitcoin ETF draws 34 million on day one. Very cool. President Trump has agreed to suspend bombing on Iran for 2 weeks. Tom Salescoat said start building lines to pump somewhere else so the strait isn't needed anymore. Unfortunately, the line that was working and it like maxed out at 7 million barrels per day, which is quite a bit, has been bombed as of today. So somebody thought of that already. Saudi Arabia. Trump has agreed to suspend bombing. We read that. We got this monster post from Trump that we just read. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. Announced that the U.S. will be suspending attacks. Very cool. We have received full details. 2-week pause. Double-sided ceasefire already met and exceed all military objectives. Workable basis. I think we read that last night. This one as well. U.S. oil prices fell 10%. Bitcoin hit 71K. $1 million question. Where's Iran ceasefire announcement? We did get that shortly afterwards as well. 2-week ceasefire proposal been approved by the country's new supreme leader. We read that as well last night. Oil kept falling, 21%. Wow. Iran's foreign minister, Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. Attacks against Iran are halted. They'll cease their defensive operations. We got the same thing. And April 7th, hang on. April 7th, and 7th. 23 hours ago. Here we go. The 2-week ceasefire plan between Iran and the United States allows Iran and Oman to charge fees on ships transiting through the Strait of Hormuz. A regional official says this money would be used for the reconstruction of Iran. Iran has been recently charging $2 million for a one-way voyage through the Strait of Hormuz. Japan's stock market surges over 5% in its initial reaction to the U.S.-Iran ceasefire. April is historically one of the best months of the year for stocks. I don't see how in a midterm year. Over the last 25 years, the MSCI World Index has posted a positive return 75% of the time in April. Over this period, the average monthly return has been 2%, the strongest of any month. This has been particularly driven by U.S. stocks, which have around 70% weight in the index. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 has gained 1.3% on average in April since 1928, the second best month of the year after July. This is also double and the overall monthly average return of plus 0.7%. Seasonality favors the bulls this month. We'll see what happens. 88 said, okay, hang on. Teach you outdated news. Jay Shear said, sub Tom teach you 88 Tony, Mr. Robbers, wherever you are. 88 said, oil going to see a hundo again by this week, I'm sure. Jay Shear said, facts. Yeah, for sure. Breaking, President Trump says the U.S. will be helping with the traffic buildup in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran can start reconstruction, and the U.S. will be loading up with supplies and just hanging around in order to make sure everything goes well. This could be the golden age of the Middle East, Trump adds. I'm sure it will be. President Trump says any country supplying military weapons to Iran will face a 50% tariff. Oh, man. He's just doing everything he can to make the market look like crap. President Trump says Iran will have no enrichment of uranium, and the United States will be working with Iran to dip up and remove all of Iran's nuclear dust. Trump also says the U.S. is discussing tariff and sanctions relief with Iran. S&P 500, 12 hours ago, set to open above 6,800, trading at just 2.9% away from its new record high, or from a new record high. The index has added $1.6 trillion today. Very cool. 12 hours ago, Saudi Arabia's east-west oil pipeline carrying 7 million barrels per day of crude oil from the Gulf to the Red Sea has been attacked. Details include the pipeline was reportedly struck by a drone and damage is being assessed. The attack on vital infrastructure comes hours after Iran and the U.S. agreed on a ceasefire deal on Tuesday evening. Prior to the ceasefire deal, Iran threatened to target the East-West pipeline if the U.S. struck Iranian power plants. Oil prices are still trading lower, down 18% today. Global gold funds are showing the first signs of recovery since the Iran war began. World gold-backed ETFs posted 9 tons of gold out inflows this week, or the week ending April 3rd, the highest since the last week of February. This comes after 4 consecutive weekly outflows of 88 tons following the outbreak of the Iran war. Meanwhile, holdings in silver-backed ETFs fell 24 tons over the last week to 15,264, near the lowest since November. Investors are rotating back into precious metals. Hopefully they do, because I got some that I'd like to sell. Announcement. Yesterday, the below user plagiarized our analysis and posted our conflict playbook as their own. Oh, dang. That's crazy. Swapnil? Well, that's a shame. Way to wreck your 100,000 followers. What an idiot. Actively identifying and pursuing accounts. Good for them. Good for them. Kobayashi letter came out of nowhere. Absolutely love everything that they do. The news segment wouldn't be the same without them. Crypto markets are recovering. Crypto funds recorded 224 million in inflows last week, posting the 4th weekly intake over the last 5. This was led by XRP at 120 million, the largest weekly inflow since December 2025, bringing year-to-date inflows to 159 million. Bitcoin and Solana followed at 107 million and 35 million, respectively. U.S.-listed Bitcoin ETFs alone attracted 471.3 million in inflows on Monday. Crypto sentiment is slowly recovering. So here's my next question, actually, that I posed to you guys. With ETFs and basically easier access for pretty much anybody, because we have mobile phones, we have apps and stuff, and the apps are very well rounded, so it's easy to buy all that stuff. You got, even if you don't want to do like Coinbase and stuff, you got like Cash App and Venmo and PayPal offering cryptocurrency services. Robinhood is really nice with a nice UI. And then for the more traditional investors, you have like ETFs offering crypto exposure. Do you think that the market is going to recover a lot faster than it typically takes in the past? And actually, let's actually take a look at this, because I feel like this is a decent question. So in the past, we've had our bear markets, and our bear markets take however long to play out. Obviously, this one took a really, really long time. This one took a little bit less time. This one took way less time. Is this one going to take even less time? We're looking at like if it is the 4-year cycle and we bottom, like for sure October's like the bottom and we build up from there, is that going to be a very, very swift October and then boom, we just take off and we're looking at like June 2027 with a new all-time high? I feel like that's not a bad concept, especially with the easier access to crypto for pretty much everybody. Like if we go from, let's just go from top to top. If that's going to play out again, then we're looking at a new all-time high by February. So I think before February, we're going to see a new all-time high if we're going to follow that same concept, that same rule. And it's very easy to identify that every single, can I make a rectangle? Every single bear market has been smaller and smaller each time. When did this one occur? And I don't know if that's because buyers just try to front run a lot sooner. Let me see if I can get a full. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, we got top to top. That's December 13th. Okay, let's do this. I'm just going to make some rectangles. See, right here is hard. How do I... Because that one's so different. I'm going to go top to top again. Let's see if these are the same or not. Oh, they're actually pretty similar. Nope, that one is shorter. Okay, hang on. Hang on. So we got that one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1 and then 2 is a little bit shorter. And then 3 is about the same length as 2. Okay. So there's clearly no difference there. The only counter argument that we could see is this. 2 also had, so instead of doing that, let me see how long it took for us to break the previous all-time high. Because from peak to peak, it's almost identical. Same timing. So how long did it take once we hit this to hit it again? And I'm going to go candle body on the weekly, because I feel like if I zoom in too much, it's going to get a little too out of control. So this took till about there. I'll be fair, though. I'll go right here. I'll go the first peak afterwards. So we got that. And then from here, we got the top to, I'll go right there just to be fair. And then from here, we've got our peak, and then we got there. Okay, so let's see the difference here, because these are very clearly different. The amount of time it took for us to break the previous all-time high. We've got 1, we've got 2. That time is not that different. This one is significantly smaller. So if we're going to go this route, the percentage dip not only is smaller, but the amount of time is also significantly less as well. So this one, the original one, took approximately 1,200 days. And then 21 took 1,100 days. And then the current one, from 21 to now, took, no, I want to go at least before it. There we go. 868 days. So let's just go 600 days. Let's just go 600 days. Actually, I should save each one of these. Let me make this tall. So this one took approximately 1,200 days. 1,200 days. It's a new all-time high. This one took approximately... Sorry, guys, I'm not checking the chat right now. I'm locked in. I had too much coffee. 1,100 days. And this one, I think I said 868. There to there. Right there. Yep, 868. Approximately 868 days. And you could argue the acceleration is because of adoption and whatnot. So let's zoom out here. Let's get our numbers back. That being said, we got our 868 days. We got our 1,100 days. And we've got our 1,200 days. What is our average between these three? And I know it's a small data set. We got 1,200 plus 1,100. Plus 868 divided by 3, 1,056. So between 1,056 on average, we're lowering though. We're very clearly, consistently lowering. I'm going to show 868 days, and then I'm going to show 600 days from peak. We're on the weekly, so we should be able to see it. I'm going to go right here. 868 puts us at approximately right there. February 21st. Can I put it? Nope. February 21st. There we go. And I said 600 for the next one. 600 days. We'll go 602. May 24th. Oops. May 24th. All right. I like that. I like either of those. May 24th and February 21st, 28. So, just a guesstimate. Just an idea. As of right now, that's the potential. Let's get back to the chart and let me check the chat, see what you guys are saying. Bitcoin, $70,607. All right, let me check the chat. Post 8 hours after he said he was wiping civilization off the earth. Just more retail for exit liquidity or exit equity. Tom Sock Scout said no, we're already bottomed and up soon. That might be the case too. Jay Shear said, I feel like if that was the case, then the 4-year cycle is squashed, but it's still on track. From peak to peak, it makes sense. From peak to peak, the 4-year cycle makes sense. But if you consider all-time high to new all-time high, I think the 4-year cycle is out the window. 88 said, sometimes I think the institutions are not about token go up, but more suck as much liquidity from retail as possible. See, if it trades sideways, then... So if it's trading sideways for longer, they're going to make money off of you dollar cost averaging or trying to trade it. If it goes up really fast, a good chunk of people are going to take profit and dip. And that's people that they could extract liquidity from. So if we want to go full tinfoil, because it's been a while, it's been a long while, the exchanges are fully incentivized to keep you on their website as long as possible. They want you to buy, they want you to sell, they want you to trade, flip-flop all over the place, so is they can make it as indecisive and volatile as possible. You're going to keep coming back left and right. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, do I buy some? I got to sell some. Oh my gosh, it's going down really fast. I got to buy some. It's going up really fast. What's it going to do? I'm not sure. I should just dollar cost average all day, every day, and keep all my equity on this website at all times. And that's what you end up doing. So it is in their best interest to stretch the bear market as long as possible. Or at least, maybe not necessarily the bear market, but the sideways, choppy, boring nonsense. I mean, arguably, what is total market cap? Total crypto market cap is 2.38 trillion. And total 3 is 705 billion. So they're making way more money off of just Bitcoin and ETH than they really care about alts about. You know, they probably make a good amount of money off of, you know, Tom, Dick, and Harry listing, you know, poopy pee coin, paying $100K to list poopy pee coin on their exchange. But that's probably pocket change to them, dude. I'm convinced that CZ is probably the richest man in modern history. It's all just on chain though, so nobody knows. But I digress. Jay Shear said every time. 88 said, why bother, JJ? We all know it's October, sir. It might be. It might just be. Jay Shear said 364 days from the top is to the bottom every time. Literally. Exactly. You got to go from Pico top to the bottom. And from the bottom to the top. So that is actually based on this 4chan post. And I all-time high to all-time low, sure. Sure. Problem with that is that relies solely on the 4-year cycle. And that 4-year cycle argument has people weirdly trying to time stuff. And I don't think that it's going to ever work out like that. Especially now that everyone's insisting that it's going to work out like that. I'm just going to stick with my guns. And if it ends up being the case, then great, cool. I'm trying to make sure that I don't get caught with my pants down. And part of that is just buying. I just dollar cost average. Now, peak to new all-time high makes more sense to me because as long as I'm dollar cost averaging along the way, especially with how fast it drops and the extensive amount of time that it spends at the bottom just ranging, you are going to be in a ridiculously large amount of profit by the time that new all-time high comes around. So with that is where my stupid little preachy braggy, and this is just my cope at this point because it's been so long since we've had any fun in the market. This time right here, crawling out of this, I've made more money than I ever made in my entire life. Made a decent amount of money playing here and riding up to there. That was fun. But this ride was so much more profitable than anything else that I ever experienced. So as long as I get that again, I don't really care. I don't care if we bottom here. I don't care if we bottom in October. I don't care if we bottom in 2028. As long as I get that grind up, I'm going to be happy. Because I'm going to dollar cost average the whole stupid way. And then eventually when it does grind up, because even if I dollar cost average all the way here, because I spent most of my time in this boring, psychotic range, the second we start to go up, that average down is going to make me so much more money in such little amount of time compared to everybody else waiting until October and just trying to like full port in at the Pico bottom, especially if they miss it. If you're waiting for October, you know, you got to plan and stick with it. That's totally fine. But don't be mad and don't be like, oh, it always happens to me. Oh my gosh, I missed it. Oh, I'm screwed now because I waited. You made that choice, bro. You made that choice. And that's totally fine. You just got to live with it. But I digress. The passage of oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz has been stopped per Iran's Fars news agency. 10 hours ago, Iran says it will withdraw from the ceasefire if Israel continues attacks on Lebanon, and it's preparing potential responses. 10 hours ago, Pakistan's Prime Minister issues a statement regarding violations of U.S.-Iran ceasefire agreement. Violations of ceasefire have been reported at a few places across the conflict zone, which undermines the spirit of peace processes. I earnestly and sincerely urge all parties to exercise restraint and respect the ceasefire for 2 weeks as agreed upon, so that diplomacy can take a lead role towards peaceful settlement of the conflict. 9 hours ago, Iran warns that it will withdraw from the ceasefire agreement if Israel attacks Lebanon. Continues. Just minutes ago, the White House told Axios that the ceasefire agreement does not include Lebanon. That's a crazy thing to say. It's a ceasefire. Just everybody stop blowing everybody up. It's a stupid thing to do. Nobody likes blowing people up. Perplexity's revenue. This is completely... It's weird to have market news mixed in with the geopolitical stuff. Perplexity's revenue has reportedly surged 50% in 1 month after shifting into AI agents per Financial Times. As a result, Perplexity's revenue has doubled in 1 quarter to more than $450 million in APR. This follows Anthropic's push into the space, which said its APR hit $19 billion at the end of February. AI agents are skyrocketing in popularity. Very cool. Meta stock surges over 8% after announcing its first AI model from its prized superintelligence group. Very cool. Good for them. Israel was not formally part of the Iran negotiations and is unhappy that it got word that a deal was finalized at a late stage, per Wall Street Journal. Details include Israel was not consulted regarding the ceasefire agreement, mediators tell Wall Street Journal. Isn't Israel like the size of New Jersey? The extent of the consultation was President Trump calling Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu shortly before the ceasefire was announced. Mediators said Israeli officials were unhappy with the terms, including the planned inclusion of Lebanon in the agreement. Netanyahu said Wednesday morning that the deal does not include Lebanon, contradicting an earlier statement by Pakistan. The ceasefire situation remains fluid. It remains retarded, in my opinion. Iran's foreign minister, Domo Arigato Misrabato, releases a statement regarding Israeli strikes on Lebanon, telling the U.S. to choose between ceasefire or continued war via Israel. The Iran-U.S. ceasefire terms are clear and explicit. The U.S. must choose ceasefire or continued war via Israel. It cannot have both. The world sees the massacre in Lebanon. The ball is in the U.S. court, and the world is watching whether it will act on its commitment, he says. Okay. I don't know anything about any of this stuff. I don't think we should be involved at all. We're the United States of America, not the United States of the Middle East. We need to get the hell out. Let them do whatever they want to do. I'm sick of them. They're messing up my bags at this point. Tishu said, but JJ, what if you DCA in your DGen alts and only Bitcoin and maybe majors go up? Then that is what it is. You gotta laying in the bed the way you make it. What if Bitcoin doesn't go up and only my specific bags go up and nobody else makes any money? You play the what if game all day. That's why we diversify. Bitcoin can go up and the rest of the crypto space could literally just be deleted off the internet. Wouldn't bother me none. I got diversified investments. I'm actually way too cash heavy right now, but I'm trying to buy a house and everything else is dumping. So I'm not gonna not hold the U.S. dollar when the U.S. dollar is outperforming literally everything. So it's an unfortunate situation because I actually quite enjoyed investing, and investing got incredibly boring and dumpy and poopy and boring and stupid. And nobody likes boring, dumpy, poopy, boring, stupid. Spain's Prime Minister, Spain's Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, calls on the European Union to suspend its association agreement with Israel following Israeli strikes on Lebanon's capital today. Ooh, damn. Philly said, so was the Strait even open for a day? There's more low to buy. The Strait was not open for a day, Philly. Not even one day. I think 3 ships went through. We got 11 votes. I'm going to end the current poll. We're going to move on to poll number 2. I asked you guys, is Bitcoin going to retrace all of its ceasefire gains? 55% of you guys said yes, probably soon too. 27% said yes, ceasefire violated. What the F, bro? 18% said no, up only from here. And nobody said no, they're using Bitcoin for fees. Tisha said, totally having some in high yield savings account was worth it. I don't know anything about high yield savings account. I don't know anything about it. Do you think we'll see a full 20% or more bear market for the S&P 500 during this dip? Yes, too much uncertainty. No, we bottomed already. Yes, recession coming. It's bad. Or no, too strong for the bears. Oops. I'm just going to post that. Yeah, that sounds good. Do you think we'll see a full 20% or more retrace our bear market from the S&P 500 during this dip? Your options are yes, too much uncertainty, no, we bottomed already, yes, recession coming, it's bad, or no, too strong for the bears. Let me know what you guys think. Bitcoin is $70,785.99. Let's continue. So far, Spain. Is it Spain? I think Spain has had the biggest balls out of all the countries involved in this situation right now. Regardless of whether or not you agree with them, they have big balls right now. Big balls. Kobayashi letter. Iran's Speaker of Parliament, Ghalibaf, releases a statement claiming that 3 clauses of their 10-point proposal has been violated by the U.S. and Israel, which, by the way, nobody agreed to that. Trump said it was a good starting point that they could work on. Parliament Speaker says the first clause of the 10-point proposal has been violated regarding a ceasefire in Lebanon. The entry of a drone into Iranian airspace was a clear violation of the clause prohibiting any further violation of Iran's airspace. 3. The U.S. denial of Iran's right to enrichment is a violation which was included in the 6th clause of the framework. Now, the very workable basis on which to negotiate has been openly and clearly violated, even before the negotiations began, he says. Well, that sounds like a language barrier to me. Get good. Iran has told mediators it will be limiting the number of ships crossing the Strait of Hormuz to around 12 per day to impose tolls under the ceasefire, per Wall Street Journal. This is a sharp reversal from last night's statements from President Trump claiming complete opening of the Strait of Hormuz. Today, just 4 ships passed through the Strait of Hormuz, the fewest of any day in April so far. The U.S. is still pushing publicly for a free and open strait, but Iran is not showing a willingness to loosen its grip. Oil prices are back above 95 a barrel. I don't want to say words. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to say something I'm not supposed to say. Tisha said, what do you mean you don't know anything about it? It's a bank account, and they pay you interest monthly on it, LOL. I've never looked into a high-yield savings account. I know what a savings account is. I don't know anything about high-yield savings accounts specifically. 88 said Spain definitely not backing down. You gotta respect it, dude. I have massive respect for Spain right now. Regardless of what side they're on, I respect them. Now, Iran, Israel, and the United States, I think all three of them look like complete freaking morons, and they should be embarrassed. We got two bow-legged gentlemen. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez issues a statement demanding that Lebanon is included in the Iran ceasefire. Iranian media reports that an oil tanker which tried to pass through the Strait of Hormuz was just turned back to Gulf waters. U.S. oil prices are rising into $97 a barrel on the news, now up 7% from the low of the day. Crazy. What are they going to do when they just start flying oil out? Is that a stupid thing to say? President Trump is considering a plan to punish some NATO countries by moving U.S. troops of countries which he deemed unhelpful to the Iran war. What? He's going to move troops out of the countries. Okay, I understand. Details include the proposal would involve moving U.S. troops from unhelpful countries and into countries who were more supportive of the Iran war. 2. The plan is early conception and one of the several the White House is discussing to punish NATO. How does that punish them, though? Who cares? The U.S. currently has around 84,000 troops stationed across Europe, countries that could benefit because they are viewed as supportive, including Poland, Romania, Lithuania, and Greece, U.S. officials said. U.S.-NATO relations appear to be degrading. Spain definitely not backing down yet. Remember that already. We got 4 hours ago, retail investor activity has fallen sharply amid the war. Daily net call option purchases by retail investors are down 2 million contracts. Down to 2 million contracts. The lowest since at least January 2024. This tracks the difference between call options purchased and call options sold, measuring how aggressively retail is betting on stocks going higher. Net daily call option purchases have fallen 12 million contracts, or minus 85% since October 2025. By comparison, the 2024 average was around 6 million contracts, or 200% higher. We expect to see a rebound in retail risk appetite soon. All right. U.S. inflation today was 1.68% year over year, according to millions of real-time transaction price data aggregated by Trueflation. This is well below the latest official BLS CPI reading of 2.4%. Our independent measure of consumer inflation has remained below the 2% target in the 1.3 to 1.7% range in early April, despite a strong reaction to gasoline price increases. Very cool. Hopefully we get some positive news in the market somewhere, man, because we can't even get a ceasefire pump. Like, this is cool. It's actually huge. This is huge for Bitcoin, but it's almost entirely erased. And forgive me for being a little greedy, but going from here to here is mediocre. That is mediocre for ceasefire. Ceasefire getting ruined. And this being like a little 1% difference versus what was once upon a time a 3 to 4% difference. You know, we've lost 75% of our gusto. That sucks. Taking the wind out of your wings, you know. Adam Back says that he's not Satoshi Nakamoto, despite early cypherpunk contributions. This is who I think the New York Times? Yeah, the New York Times said they think that that's who it is. And I'm pretty sure it's because of the clip circulating from McAfee about Adam Back being Satoshi because he's British or something. He said, "I'm not Satoshi, but I was an early in laser focus on the positive societal implications of cryptography, online privacy, and electronic cash. Hence my 1992 onwards active interest in applied research on eCash, privacy tech, and or on cypherpunk's list, which led to Hashcash and other ideas." I'm pretty sure he just contributed. He was probably one of many. The White House economists say stablecoin rewards won't harm banks, with banning yields expected to boost lending by just 0.02% per Bloomberg. Anthropic launches Project Glasswing to secure critical software using advanced AI at near top human expert level. 2.7 billion buy volume hits Bitcoin derivatives on Binance after ceasefire news. This was 14 hours ago. 13 hours ago, any country supplying military weapons to Iran will face immediate 50% tariff. That'll probably be revoked later. Time to silence the bears, Michael Saylor said. Absolute legend. USDXY dropped 1%, wiping out all gains recorded in 2026. Let's go. Polymarket acquires Brahma to strengthen DeFi infrastructure and trading performance. Hong Kong Mortgage Corp is considering a $1.5 billion blockchain-based bond sale that could become the world's largest digital bond issuance per Bloomberg. HandlePay is betting on social usernames becoming payment rails, turning handles into wallet addresses by hiding blockchain complexity and focusing on user experience. Crypto payments could finally feel as simple as sending a message. This is what needs to happen. This is huge. That's a paid partnership. I might look into that, because if that's going to be a project that I can invest in, I'm 100% going to do it. There's already things like, I think ETH has their .eth names. ADA has ADA handles. Solana has something similar. All of these chains have their individual version of that, where instead of typing in the whole address or copying the address or any of that BS, you can just type in the handle. And as long as the wallet that is sending and the wallet that is receiving are both compatible, that's all that you have to worry about. It's so simple, so nice. That's what needs to happen. Tishu said it's not bad in one of them. I also have a checking account, which I can transfer the money instantly and then also withdraw to Coinbase same day, so it's liquid. Same thing backwards. If I sell for cash, I can earn something on it until I decide to deploy some back. That is actually very nice. I'll have to see if my credit union offers something. 88 said, right, these green candles were a everyday thing a few years ago. Now people think it's mooning, right? Yeah, it's like, I don't even know how to really compare it to anything. It's like watching your favorite boxer get in the ring and he's old and he sucks. You know, like you watched them in their prime and now you're seeing them now and you're like, oh. Like you're trying to show your kids, you're like, he's the best. And then he's up there and he just kind of like stinks. And you're like, he was the best. You should have seen him back in the day. Back in the day. Bitcoin has become a frail, old, decrepit senior citizen. Underperforming because of the news. The one thing that it was supposed to be completely immune to. Big tokenized assets on BNB chain hit an all-time high of 16.6 billion, marking over 100% growth year over year per token terminal. I feel like Binance is so overlooked, and that seems like it feels like such a silly thing to say because they've maintained a position in the top 10, even the top 5. This thing's $81 billion market cap. I have a crazy question. Let's do this for the next poll. We got 7 votes right now. We are not tied. I'm going to end the current poll. We're going to do a crazy question for the next one. I asked you guys, do you think we'll see a full 20% or more bear market for the S&P 500 during this dip? 43% of you guys said no, too strong for the bears. 29% said yes, too much uncertainty. And 29% said no, we bottomed already. Nobody said recession coming, it's bad. So majority of people are saying no, we're not going to see a bear market pullback for the S&P 500. Which one? You have to pick one. Which one you have to pick has the most potential to flip ETH? BNB, XRP, Solana, or what is it? Am I going to go with Hype? I'm going to go with Hype, I think. Is Hype silly? No, because they have like revenue. They have the whole... Yeah, they plowed into the top 10. I'm going with Hype. Or Hype. Which one you have to pick has the most potential... Let me specify most in all caps. The most potential to flip ETH. Start poll. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Which one you have to pick has the most potential? I refuse to acknowledge Tron's existence. To flip ETH, BNB, XRP, Solana, or Hype. Let me know. Cheers, guys. Happy Wednesday. What would I pick? I'll wait for you guys. until I pick. I don't want to sway because you know everybody likes to copy me. What's going on, Kwame? Happy Wednesday, my friend. All right, very cool. B&B over 100% growth year over year. Very cool. Tom Salk said, "I'm not picking anything because nothing is going to flip ETH." Jay Shear said, "Sorry for what?" Philly said Solana. Okay. Cointelegraph posted, attackers are shipping fake hardware wallets with tampered components and preset recovery phrases to steal funds. Kaspersky documented cases involving counterfeit devices across multiple brands, including supply chain attacks designed to leak seed phrases after setup. The device itself becomes the attack. Avoid wallets with pre-generated seeds, altered packaging, or unusual setup flows. Always buy directly from the manufacturer or authorized sellers. Generate your own seed phrase and never use one provided to you. Reputable manufacturers have responded with measures like secure elements like cryptographically authenticate firmware, but only if the device is genuine. This is actually one of the reasons why I'm not huge on hardware wallets. There's way too many answers. People, for some reason, they don't write down their damn seed phrase. Or they buy one used on eBay, which is insane. Or maybe not used, but it's like, it's new, and they open it up and they don't realize that it was opened before and it was just put back together nicely. Humans build packaging. Like, it's not hard to forge packaging. Be careful out there, guys. Just be careful. I read a post the other day. Somebody lost a hardware wallet. They didn't have their seed phrase written down. And I think we read it on stream. It was a confession. Crazy. Guy lost a ridiculously large amount of money. Insane. Oh, man. All right. New Standard Chartered is weighing a restructure of Zodia custody, shifting parts of the crypto custodian into its investment bank, per Bloomberg. We're seeing more and more of this migration. This literally, I just read, shifting parts of the crypto custodian into its investment bank. Are they going to be like not crypto for that part or no? Stablecoins hit $7.2 trillion monthly volume, surpassing US ACH and Visa. Damn, I told you guys. Stablecoins are spearheading adoption. We are not going to be able to use those to measure the sidelined cash that's going to come into crypto, because it's going to be the M2 money supply all over again. Remember when everyone was like, "Oh, there's a correlation with M2 and Bitcoin"? No, there wasn't. There was a weird arbitrary timeline. Everyone was shifting. They're like, there's a 3-week delay correlation with the M2 money supply and Bitcoin. It was a coincidence. Sorry. There's zero correlation between the Bitcoin chart and the M2 money supply chart. There's clearly a correlation between M2 money supply and Bitcoin, because part of that money supply goes into Bitcoin eventually. But there's no chart correlation where you can just look at it and be like, yep, that's what's going to happen. That's not a thing. Stablecoins are going to far outperform any asset on the planet. And what sucks the most about that is no one is going to benefit from it except for the people issuing the stablecoins. Meta launches Muse Spark, first AI model, after Mark Zuckerberg's multi-billion-dollar push to catch rivals. Good for him. He's looking a little tired, I'm not going to lie. Looks like a tired little surfer boy. Just in, Trump says fraudsters and charlatans are sending unauthorized materials on U.S.-Iran negotiations and will be rapidly exposed after federal investigation. Unauthorized materials on U.S.-Iran? I don't understand. Numerous agreements, lists, and letters are being sent out by people that have absolutely nothing to do with the USA-Iran negotiation. In many cases, they are total fraudsters, charlatans, and worse. They will be rapidly exposed after our federal investigation is completed. There is only one group of meaningful points that are acceptable to the United States, and we will be discussing them behind closed doors during these negotiations. These are the points that are the basis on which we agree to a ceasefire. It is something that is reasonable and can easily be dispensed. Yeah, what did that post say? Hang on. Feels like there's a lot of noise and fake info flying around. Markets going to react to headlines before the real facts even come out. Yeah, it's crazy. Free speech. Free speech, eh? That's pretty good. Free speech is pretty good. What's going on, Waterfly? Happy Wednesday. You know, you arrived and said dump it, and then there was a big fat wick to the upside. All right. U.S. stock market added 1.5 trillion to the market cap at the open. Very cool. It's actually still up. Morgan Stanley launches Bitcoin ETF MBST with forecasts of 5 billion assets under management in year one and 30 million in day one volume. Hell yeah. Zach XBT exposed North Korea linked network generating $1 million a month using fraudulent identities and crypto to fiat transfers. The scheme processed 3.5 million plus since late 2025 with activity tied to sanctioned entities and global financial channels. Here's my question. How hard would it be to hack the hacker? This is so stupid. This is the dumbest thing I've ever said. And to like put your wallet address in there and just for like one or two little extractions. Are they really going to notice that they got like $1 or $2 less million than they were planning? Like if they're going to get, let's say they do instead of $1 million a day, $1 million a month. Let's say they get like, instead of 12 million for the year, they get 10. You think they're really going to care? You know, are they really going to give a crap? Oh man, we only made 10. What? We only made $10 million this year? What? Ethereum Foundation convert 5,000 ETH into stablecoins to support R&D grants and ecosystem growth. I think they've already sold some of that or more than that. Let me see. Hold on. ETH Foundation sold ETH. Let's see. 11 hours ago. Right here. We've got 11 hours ago. ETH Foundation sells 1 million worth of Ethereum, and then 7 hours ago, Ethereum Foundation to sell 10 million worth of Ethereum over the next hours. So they dump it, and it's for charity allegedly. And what else did they say? R&D grants and ecosystem growth. That sounds like bullshit. I'm just saying. Shouldn't they be like just selling at all times, like very small amounts at all times, instead of big fat chunks in the middle of a bear market? It seems a little irresponsible. Jay Shear said I might have to agree with Tom and Philly. 88 said, yeah. Waterfly said dump it. The great leader cares. Right. So far, you guys are saying Sol. We got a total of 8 votes. So far, you guys are saying Solana has the most potential to flip ETH. Cointelegraph posted, update, Perplexity AI revenue jumps 50% a month after pivot to AI agents, APR to at 450 million. I've never even heard of them. That's awesome though. Could you imagine? Latest, U.S. Treasury is advancing the Genius Act with a proposed rule requiring stablecoin issuers to implement AML and sanctions compliance and enable blocking or freezing of certain transactions targeting illicit finance. All right. Bitcoin has roughly 3 to 5 years to prepare for quantum risks, mainly affecting older wallets and exposed keys, according to Bernstein. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Good idea. Brent crude futures settled at $94.75 a barrel, down $14.52, marking a 13.29% drop. So, I feel like two-factor authentication would be maybe a decent Bitcoin. Can we make a Bitcoin wallet that has two-factor? Some form of two-factor. Is that silly? That seems kind of silly. Maybe centralization is the answer. That's what they're going to try to push, man. I'm telling you. Brent crude futures settled at 90. Oh, yeah, we read that already. Stablecoin volumes could reach up to 1.5 quadrillion by 2035 and rival Visa and MasterCard between 2031 and 2039, according to Chainalysis. I bet you it happens even faster than that. Visa and MasterCard are going to have to, like, very, very quickly adopt stablecoins. Jay Shear said post-quantum is going to be the play. Post-quantum is going to be interesting. It's going to be so interesting. Post-quantum might make money irrelevant or might push us to a cash-reliant society. But even then, how hard is it going to be for quantum computing to figure out and then tell you and help you forge that currency, you know? It can be weird. There's going to have to be a lot of laws. There's going to be like weird like cyber cops. Open the door. We need to run some tests on your RAM. Bitcoin active addresses hit a new 2026 low, the lowest level in 8 years. Dang. What do they mean by active? How do you have an active Bitcoin address? Like buying and selling, depositing and moving around? What constitutes an active address? You know what I mean? Because Bitcoin doesn't have DeFi. You can use it for DeFi. What's going on, Blockchain Brew? What if I said I invested in 2 quantum stocks last year? What you got for us, Waterfly? One of them Google? I feel like Google's going to wipe the floor with everybody. Google's going to be our AI overlord. You guys ever watch Futurama? You know Mom's Robot Corp? That's Google. D-Wave and Rigatoni? D-Wave and Rigatoni. All right. Let's check this Rigatoni. What the hell? What have I done? Rigetti? Rigetti computing? Rigatoni. Okay. I like it when it looks bad. Philly, I love you. And if you're still here, I apologize. But Philly would see this and he'd be like, what? This is down. This is down 75% since 2020, since October. It is hard to get over that mentality, though. But this is when you want to buy, man. My dumbass bought, like, I think I bought Applied Digital up really high. I bought SMR so high, dude. I'm so mad about SMR. Hopefully it does good. There's definitely a ton of potential here for sure for upside. Like your worst case scenario, if it just returns to all-time highs, is what? A 4 or 6x? 300%? That's pretty good. That's pretty dang good, dude. 300% is crazy. I feel like charts not as important with stocks as like just looking and seeing what the company's actually doing and getting revenue and all that stuff. Earnings. Applied Digital. I fumbled APLD. I either dollar cost averaged way too high. Well, actually, no. I think my average was around 25 bucks. I just didn't sell at 40. Yeah, this thing's been doing pretty good. I have SMR. SMR is one of my worst ones right now. I don't know what I did. This is a Grok recommendation. It did great over here. I don't remember what my average was, though. I think it was like 20 bucks. Yeah, see, that's the problem. I think I bought around here. And then it went, woohoo! And I'm like, oh, 140%? I can wait. And then it went, and now I'm down 50. I don't know what I did. I did good with Kodak. I feel like Roblox is way oversold. There's way too much drama around Roblox right now. This thing's going to pop right back up. This game's so damn popular, and it's free. It is free. And then all your kids get really into it, and their buddies are like, oh my god, I got this sick skin. And then you're like, I want that skin. Mom, Dad, can I get a Roblox card? And I think the cheapest one's 10 bucks. So you're giving them 10 bucks. Every child. How many kids are there? How many kids in the US? Or actually just how many users on Roblox? There are 111.8 million daily active users times 10. That's like a potential for $1 billion in revenue just on that alone. If they do that like once a month, you buy a $10 Roblox card once a month, and you know they're buying more than that. What if I said pull up QBTS, D-Wave, Quantum Inc., 1454. Oh, this looks like it. We looked at this before. Why did we look at this? Hello? When did we look at this? 2024. Was I even streaming back then? I started in September of... It had to have been September 2024. Whoa. So we did look at this back then. Wow, this thing went crazy. Oh my gosh. We would have bought this when we were talking about it. We'd be up, we could have been up 300 something percent. Right now alone, we'd be up 55%. That's sick. You bought it at 636. Ooh. Yeah, that's awesome. What are they doing? What's they waving out the D? They hand out the D in waves? Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we clearly did TA on it way the heck over here. That played out. It just took a little bit longer. Instead of going like this, it went woo! You know, a little more of an angle. I needed to tilt it a little bit. Jishu said, I remember when Roblox came out. Never would have thought. Dude, I did the same thing. Roblox, I bought some Roblox. I waited. I sold way too early. And then Reddit. I think I marked where I bought on Reddit. And I fumbled it, dude. I bought at 70. It would have been up 100% right now. What have I done? These are the expensive lessons that I've learned. I would have doubled my money on Reddit. But I got impatient because it was the same price for a couple months. Couple months. I couldn't wait a couple months. That's why I refuse to be like, oh, it's taking too long. Ultra dead. With any asset that I'm invested in. SMR, Kodak. Kodak I was sitting on for forever. That thing just doubled overnight. Overnight. Doubled. 100% candle, I think. It's insanity. So, in my opinion, nothing is ever dead. Things can die and go away, whatever. You don't really ever think about those. Majority of the things, as long as you're not being an idiot and investing in nothing but meme coins, majority of the things are going to be okay. Jishu said, look at SEASQ. SEASQ. Seals Q? This guy? I got very lucky with this one, Jay Shear. Bought at 636. Philly said, JJ, Applied Digital is good. All I remember saying was we missed the lows to buy in it. Yeah, I mean, if anyone's in the Discord, the stock channel there is actually really decent. Really decent place. I'm convinced that because of our experience in crypto, it's really easy for us to enter the stock market because we're so used to doing in-depth research to make sure we don't get scammed, and it's a lot harder to scam in the stock market because it's very regulated. So we do our in-depth crypto research on stocks. We're probably gonna find something good, and we're like, whoa, they make money. That's like the biggest surprise to crypto people, is that stock market companies make money. Seals Q. Two stocks my wife absolutely destroyed on is HBM and ET. This thing's, in my opinion, I would say that this is probably bottomed. If it was going to have potential. December 2024, it popped off for some reason. I wonder what caused that. What caused that? Wow. 1,000% post-quantum place. I mean, okay. I'm going to take a picture of this one. I might buy some. Yes, I'm an old man. I take pictures. Leave me alone. It's easier than writing it down. You want me to go type something on a different screen and then I got to worry about saving it later. I can just delete the picture when I'm done. HBM and ET. HBM. What does HBM do? Hudbay Minerals? Oh, yeah. This one was a for sure winner. I keep telling my fiance, I'm like, you got to get into the markets, man. You probably, like, kill me when it comes to that stuff. She'd probably be so much better because I'm looking at it through a different lens, you know. She's looking at it completely differently from me. Probably going to have a more level head. Energy transfer. Yeah, your wife did the minerals and energy. That's huge. Very cool. All right, let's get back to the news segment. We're going to have like a dedicated stock market portfolio day where we just go through and build a portfolio of stocks. Post-quantum play semiconductor. They have satellites in orbit right now. Very cool. Okay. OpenAI Foundation plans to deploy over 100 million in grants to accelerate AI-driven Alzheimer's research, including drug design and early detection. This is really cool. Not a fan of OpenAI Foundation I can get behind, and helping Alzheimer's research, I can also get behind. Update, whale transactions surged across major tokens led by USDC, 1,097%, followed by Crow, 1inch, and Engine, according to Sentiment. Very cool. Philly said, JJ on ET, my wife bought the bottom. What's that return? That's crazy. January 26th. 17%? That's not bad. What bottom? How far? I guess you can go back way farther. Looks like you can go back way farther. This bottom? I'm just going to assume she bought 2020. 275%. Let's go. Hell yeah. That's the way to do it, man. Set it and forget it. Set it and forget it. Crazy returns. Okay, Bitcoin, 70,904. So far, holding 70K, which is a big deal. Flight Band said, no. I came from the stock market. The stock market is a total scam. Total scam. Nakedness, shorts, and synthetic share kill, and small cap, medium cap stocks. I don't know. I'm going to be objective because I didn't come from the stock market. And I feel like I've approached stocks kind of like I approached NFTs. With NFTs, I feel like everyone dove headfirst in NFTs. They're like, oh my gosh, you got to buy everything that you see. And that was the wrong way to do it. And I'm not trying to brag. I just approached it as a poor person. I didn't have a lot of money to deploy. I had like $50, $100 here and there. So I'd buy an NFT because I really like the art. I would literally, as soon as I owned it, I would list it for twice what I paid. And 2 weeks would go by and it would sell. That's all that I had to do. I did that like maybe between 5 and 10 times net profit on NFTs. There was a scavenger hunt. I won like $700-800 on that. I made money off of NFTs. I've tried to approach stocks the same way. I'm very picky, very frugal. I take my time. I do my research. In crypto, you're kind of brought up in the space to think like there's not enough time. You have to figure out right now, what are you putting all of your money into? And it should only be one thing. And that is the entire wrong way to invest in everything, in every aspect of life. That's gambling at that point. And unfortunately, that's a problem that crypto has. Philly said a donation to Alzheimer's is a donation to Waterboy. What if they kept donating like they forgot? Is that a bad joke? That's a bad joke. It's in poor taste. Okay. BNB chain led all L1s with 4.5 million average daily active users in Q1 2026, followed by Tron, Near, Solana, and Say. Very cool. I'm not gonna lie, when I look at their logo, it kind of looks like worms. Not a fan. I never thought of that until just now. US SEC filing shows a proposed Canary Pepe ETF under new S1 registration statement. Very cool. Pepe has come a long way. It's pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie though, aren't they gonna get in trouble? Isn't this IP owned by the dude that like made Pepe? Mark Chadwick, the man myth. Breaking, Bitcoin just broke $72,000 and crypto is pumping on potential ceasefire. POV, realizing when we get actual geopolitical macro stability and clarity, the real pump is going to be biblical. Pretty cool stuff. I have not seen this movie yet. I forget what it's called. I don't remember. But I do want to see it. I'm a Cillian Murphy guy. I enjoy him. Philly said, you ever read that? Waterfly said, I will look into it, Jay. Thank you. Kwame said, I thought you were going to say butthole again. I do frequently say butthole. Mark Chadwick also said, okay, alts are actually starting to look insane right now. Signals are flashing for the first time since 2020. They just broke out of a multi-year wedge, and MACD is now approaching a bullish crossover. This is the same setup we saw in 2020, right before alts went through the roof. We saw 10x to 100x move across the board. TradingView has buy rating. If MACD flips green and confirms the crossover in the coming weeks, follow the arrow for directions higher. Bullish. Altcoin market cap, MACD approaching bullish crossover. Buy rating. We do like that. That's actually pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about the trading view buy rating thing. I used to actually crack up whenever this flipped to buy. It was usually the best time to sell. I remember thoroughly tracking that, and it was actually pretty good counter trade. MSB Intel posted breaking tanker traffic halts in Hormuz 11 hours ago. Shipping disrupted as Iran accuses Israel of breaching the ceasefire. Passage through the strait remains tightly controlled and uncertain. Meanwhile, direct U.S.-Iran talks expected in Pakistan on Friday. Friday might be a decent trade. Flightvan said, well, I'll tell you one thing. The most lucrative stocks are pharmaceuticals. You can look up clinical trials and FDA approval dates. Ooh, okay. Waterfly said, I'm shorting alts. Billy said, JJ, ignore all that. There's not going to be a 6-month bear market. Who said anything about a 6-month bear market? This? Alts have been in a bear market, Philly, for 6 years. Trump says Lebanon and Hezbollah are not included in the U.S.-Iran ceasefire. The 2-week truce applies only to U.S.-Iran hostilities. What this means: fighting in Lebanon can continue. Israel operations versus Hezbollah are unaffected. Risk of regional escalation remains high. Nobody cares. PlayNet integrates with SWE to power on-chain rewards and identity infrastructure for brands. Use ZK login to create wallets via familiar logins. Very cool. No seed phrases or visible blockchain interaction for users, targets, brands, agencies, and interactive media platforms. That's actually very cool. I like that. We have not seen like a proper innovative thing in crypto. When's the last time? Like we got on-chain derivatives. That's cool. Like hype, whatever. Is that innovative? Not really. NFTs were last bull market, and then we had meme coins like 2025, I guess, 24, 25. We have not had like the next thing come through, and unfortunately, I'm kind of leaning towards it being stable coins. So maybe we get a chain that like implements stable coins or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. Meta stock surges 8% after unveiling Muse Spark, new frontier AI model. Ranks among top-tier systems, more efficient than peers, using around 58 million tokens versus 100 million. Also, Meta's first flagship model not released as open weights, now rolling into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Interesting. Real to True said, hey JJ, how you doing? Real to True. Cheers, my friend. Happy Wednesday. Okay. Real to True, you have arrived just in time for the Crypto Fergani segment. Everybody's favorite. Here we go. Everyone is bearish, but I've been telling you for weeks. The bottom is in. Capitulation is over. Weak hands are gone. Altcoins will do 10 to 100x on average. This is your last warning. If you still think this is a bear market, you deserve what's coming. I've been here for 10 plus years, and I'll keep you updated on everything like I always do. If you still haven't followed me, you'll regret it. Crypto Fergani, ladies and gentlemen. We got Golden Cross coming out the wazoo. Let's see, how many Golden Crosses do we have? We got Bitcoin Dominance Death Cross. We got ETH Bitcoin Golden Cross. We've got Altcoin Dominance Golden Cross. Very cool. Next. Former finance professor Tad Smith. After 25 years teaching finance, I realized at 58, if the money printer grows 8 to 10% annually, the S&P 500 returns around 9%, it's just treading water. True wealth comes from outpacing the printer. That's the Bitcoin journey. We like former finance professor Tad Smith. Believe it or not. I just figured out that I like him. Okay, next one. Imagine a father who secures $100,000 in spot Bitcoin. He holds the asset until the valuation hits a massive $5 million. Liquidating the position directly triggers devastating taxes on $4,900,000 of pure profit. So he executes the perfect institutional maneuver instead. He locks the Bitcoin in a legal trust takes out a collateralized loan against the stack, and lives off the borrowed liquidity. Because he never executed a sale, his tax liability remains at absolute zero. Upon his death, his heirs receive the Bitcoin with a brand new cost basis set exactly at $5 million. The government cannot legally touch a single cent of the accumulated gain. This is actually how generational wealth is permanently secured. That's pretty cool. I did not know that. I'm going to have to look into that once I achieve generational wealth. Realtor True said, I'm hoping for a shot up to 72K, and then I'm looking for shorts. We'll have to see what countries decide to bomb each other overnight. Listen to me. We are entering the most parabolic phase of the bull cycle. This is the phase where you wake up $50,000 richer every day for weeks. But be quick. The last phase only lasts about 4 to 6 months. If you don't lock in now, you'll have to wait another 4 years. Got it? Oh, we got another one. I don't know. How many more do we? What? We got 2 more? Everyone calling for alt season in 2025, and what happened? It never came. Everyone who blindly believed it got chopped, got wrecked, lost patience. Now look at sentiment today. Everyone says alt season is dead. Altcoins will never run again. Bitcoin only. Meme coins killed alts. And that's exactly why this gets interesting. Because when alts start moving now, nobody will believe it. They'll call it a relief rally. They'll call it a fake pump. And while they're coping, altcoins will keep running. Slowly at first, then violently. Then faster than 2021. I'm calling it early. 2026 will be the biggest altcoin season ever. Not louder, not cleaner, bigger. Bookmark this. Come back in 6 months. Not 1 year, 6 months. This market always rewards those who move before consensus. Ignore this if you want, but don't say nobody warned you. Before the rotation hits, AI is coming. And this might be the last real alt run before the game changes forever. Save it. All I'm asking is that you pay attention. If you still haven't followed me, you'll regret it. And then we got the beautiful post that I think they stole from, who did they steal this from? Mr. Mark Chadwick. For all we know, Mark Chadwick probably stole this from somebody too. This is just a screenshot from his video. That's why it's so low res. That's pretty good. All right, billionaire Ricardo Salinas says most people don't realize they're inside the matrix. Fiat is the biggest fraud, and the only way to get out of the fraud is through Bitcoin. Very cool. Jack Mallers, it's over, man. This thing is going to the moon. Isn't Jack Mallers like 23 years old? Michael Saylor said, time to silence the bears. Thoroughly enjoy the the AI slap that Sailor posts. That's pretty good. He's just sharing other people's now. That's epic. Imagine Sailor sharing your stupid AI video of him slapping a bear. That's awesome. 40% chance Bitcoin hits $100,000 this year, according to Kalshi. Let's go. 70% chance Bitcoin reclaims 70% or $70,000 in March. Speaking of Kalshi, if you guys want to be a degenerate gambler like me, sign up for Kalshi with my link in the description. Deposit and trade with $25 or more, and we'll both receive $25 in non-withdrawable site credit. It is gambling though, so treat it as such. Don't deposit or play with more than you can afford to lose. I'm not a financial advisor. Neither are you, most likely. Yesterday's fear and greed was 43. Allegedly, today is also 43. I'm pretty sure yesterday was in the 30s. We are now officially neutral, according to CoinMarketCap. CoinGlass, we are in extreme fear still at 13, and the stock market is at 31, which is just regular fear. If you guys haven't already, subscribe. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers. It's a grind. We're having fun, though. Pavel said optical tech, NVIDIA collaboration for major changes in data centers, huge contracts for the Mag 7, other major companies from 2026 to 2030. I feel like, I don't know about that company name specifically, but I feel like we read something about the optical situation with fiber optics going in these data centers. FlightFan said, yeah, I believe we'll have double alt season. People don't understand how much the stock market will migrate. They will use all your alts as SPACs and or reverse mergers. Alts are the stars 26 to 27. Saeed said, hi, sir. How you doing, Saeed? Happy Thursday to you, my friend. It's Wednesday here, but cheers. Good morning. Bull Theory posted, Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz again less than 24 hours after agreeing to reopen it as part of the ceasefire deal. Israel continued bombing Lebanon after the ceasefire was announced, which Iran says is a direct violation of the agreement. Gulf Arab countries are also reporting new attacks across the region. This was 6 hours ago. Then we've got, all right. Okay. Bull Theory posted, someone placed a $950 million bet on oil falling just hours before Trump announced the Iran ceasefire. Reuters reports 8,600 lots of Brent and U.S. crude futures were sold in a single block at 1945 GMT. Trump announced a ceasefire at 22:30 GMT, and oil dropped 15% immediately after. Large trades like this are almost never done in single blocks. Traders specifically avoid this to prevent moving the market. Someone did it anyway, right before one of the most market-moving announcements of the year. This is the third major suspicious trade tied to Trump's recent announcements. That is pretty sus. Pretty sus. Mando posted, one thing is for sure to me, the same group of people who found altcoins, then DeFi, then NFTs, then meme coins, they aren't just going to be satiated trading stocks and commodities now. People in this space need the hope of 1000x gains, and the market will eventually create something to please that. You'd think it probably comes by the end of the year. I actually fully agree with this. This is actually what we were just talking about. We had something every cycle so far. They're not just going to stop now. Flightfan said your alts are going to be the equivalent of OTC stocks. Bigger players will buy them up like they buy small OTC companies or merge with them. They will use your staking and crypto loaning infrastructure. They might make their own. That's why I'm a little iffy about the whole adoption thing. It's a lot easier, and you circumvent a lot of the possible like cybersecurity issues or liabilities by making your own. You know what I mean? Like, instead of just buying a decrepit old house, they're building their own house. It's one of those things. It's a lot cheaper to adopt a house, but if you have the money, which most of these companies do, they can build their own. So, crude oil took a big fat dump 18 hours ago. 13 hours ago, S&P 500 on track to close above its 200-day moving average for the first time in 14 trading days. Silver ripped to its highest price in almost 3 weeks, 13 hours ago. Stock market says goodbye to extreme fear, first time in over a month, 12 hours ago. Jim Cramer said he thinks Apple goes higher. Apple probably fell. Let's actually go see. It actually was okay. Totally okay. Surprising. Let's see what it looks like tomorrow. Bitcoin is down 0.07%, currently trading at $71.18.61. Learner Entity said sounds nice. We'll see. If Wall Street liked alts, Canton wouldn't exist. What is Canton? Canton the coin? Let's see, what is this? Layer 1 smart contract blockchain configurable privacy controls solving for public network adoption of RWAs and TradFi institutions. The network uses two-tier consensus mechanism allowing for unlimited horizontal scalability of the network while maintaining full smart contract interoperability across it. Global synchronizer acts as network backbone for the system. What's the unlock schedule? Is there none? What? Is it fully? Oh, max supply is infinity. Yeah. Get out of here. Junk. This thing launch at the same price that it's at? How does this thing magically launch at a $5.59 billion valuation? Get the hell out of here. Scam. Only billion-dollar companies will make their own. Mid-cap stocks will merge. Happens every day. Okay, actually, I didn't even think about that. That's actually a fair argument. Investors have been rotating to cash at one of the fastest paces in history, and I bet you it's retail. I bet you it is. More than 82% of S&P 500 stocks are now trading above their 5-day moving average, the strongest short-term market breadth since November. Lunar Entity, since you're here, my friend, explain this chart to me again, because I feel like an idiot every time I pull it up and I don't know how to talk about it. Lunar Entity said Canton is not a scam, but definitely a bad investment. I'm not a fan of coins that launch that high. It doesn't make sense to me that this coin can be number 17 in market cap. It just launched in freaking November. Most of the liquidity is handled OTC for institutions. It's Wall Street's answer to all payment rails. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the infinite supply. I'm not a fan of the launch. Just magically being $5.59 billion. I'm not a fan. All right. Evolution of trading. We see this every once in a while. It's pretty accurate, though, even months later. They used to look at technicals and fundamentals in the 80s, and today you're just looking at Twitter, or X. S&P 500 posts first close above 200-day moving average in 14 trading days. Hell yeah. May have closed above its 200-day moving average, but one hurdle remains, the 20-week moving average, with the S&P currently on track for its 6th consecutive close behind it. I wouldn't touch that thing as an investment. It's a payment vehicle. Right. And that's always been my argument kind of to the whole XRP folk. They've kind of always argued that XRP was for payment rails and stuff like that, but you can do that with every coin. Every single coin offers that same scenario. And I don't like how much Ripple holds. I do like that there is an actual max supply. I don't like that it's not all circulating. That's a little sus. It's only 61% circulating. Are you crazy? Are you actually insane? Where's the distribution? You know what I mean? 64% of the supply is held by the top 10 wallets. Now, majority of these are probably contracts with exchanges. But you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful. Spooky out there. I don't think XRP is going anywhere. I just don't know how much more of a return on investment you can get. Flight fan said I can do it with Cash App. Right. Right. The payment rails argument has always been odd to me. I do like Cash App as well. And the fee has amounted to the same as well. There's instant transfers now. It's like a 0.02% fee. That's nothing, you know? And it's liquid. Now, when we go to stable coins, as long as you can do that with your stable coins too, I don't really care. And again, I think there's gonna have to be some kind of web where in the background you don't see how anything's working. I don't care how the internet shakes hands with packets and goes through my router and modem and the node and all. I don't care about any of that. Nobody ever explained. I just want to plug my computer in and be on the internet. You know what I mean? Nobody cares how crypto works. They shouldn't. They shouldn't have to care how it works. They just use it. The invisible blockchain will always win. Always. Breaking eggs. Egg prices have now collapsed by more than 97% from their March 2025 all-time high and are now trading at the lowest price in over a decade. This is the problem. Trump leaned too hard into the egg trade, and now we are at war with Iran, and eggs are dirt cheap. Tom Scott said, it's a scam. Billy said, what in the Lord? Look at ENJ. Tom Scott, if you are still here, my friend, please explain the yield index chart, please. Whoa! We got a 40% candle. Dang, is this hold on. I forgot to say, yeah, it's mana. Is this, I was going to say the comeback of gaming coins, but it's not. That's pretty sick, though. Let's go take a look at the 4-hour just to make it even more fun. That's one 4-hour candle? What? 40%. Wow. That's so sick. Are you kidding me? You don't want... Okay, spreads. Thank you. Credit. Is it credit spreads, correct? Okay. So far, you nailed it with that rejection call. They need to break down below 3%? Okay. Get below here. All right. Credit spreads. Thank you. Oh, geez, what have I done? Okay. Can I change the name here? That'd be kind of cool. Add note? What's the little ghost guy? So what does that do for me when I go here? Is it just shows me the note? Okay. That's kind of cool. Lunar Entity said, essentially, the cost of money for major players, the lower spreads go, the cheaper it is for money to flood the system. Okay, I like that. Flight Fan said, I typed that all wrong. I'm going to read it anyways. Payment systems is a scam. Let's break it down. Say, I want to send you money. I have to get my money. A wire transfer costs $20 and takes 1 to 3 business days, I'm assuming. On a wallet. Nope. How much does that alone cost? I don't think it costs $20. Maybe you did type it wrong. And I did read it anyways. Alright, let's get back to it. I am liking, so far, if you guys can ignore my mess, I'm liking the little double bottom, little butt cheek pattern we got going on. Unfortunately, it looks very similar to this. This is Adam Eve. This is just a double bottom. So, in order for that to be more exciting, I'm going to have to actually see it react with some upside instead of a rejection. And my biggest concern was this just copy-paste move. So far, we've circumvented that, which is good. I want to see that circumvention circumcised and circumference continue for the circum. Flight Fan's cracking up. Lunar Entity said, what worries me is the higher time frames on spreads. Yeah, when you zoom out, it does look a little spooky. For sure. Yeah, that's incredibly terrifying. 2020 going into 2021, though, that's what sparked a monstrous bull market. And then you can make the argument 22 going into 25 sparked a monstrous bull market as well. So we saw the bull run. We saw Bitcoin breaking all-time highs before the halving. What are we going to see for this? I don't know. So far, we've seen downside. Maybe not since April, but so it's not a one-to-one correlation, but it's pretty dang close. Pretty decent correlation, I would argue. We have some really nice weekly, monthly divergence, though. Flight Fan said, no, I was saying a wire transfer costs $20, and for me to put money on a wallet costs a high percentage. How to get fiat onto a wallet free? Oh, wire transfer costs you money? Where are you exchanging? It's almost free for me. All I pay is the exchange fee for like the purchase. But just to have cash on the exchange is, I'm pretty sure, free when I use a debit card. And I think it's even more free when you use ACH. It just takes a couple of days. Okay. Oh, we got our Coinfessions. We got some Kobe SE letters to catch up on. Coinfessions. We have literally lost 98% of my $660,000 portfolio mentally and physically in the worst shape of my life. Damn, that sucks. Fortunately, money is not everything, and you made it before, you can make it again. I believe in you. I lost $350,000 in less than 72 hours to altcoins. Damn, he should have just sent it to me. Went all in crypto. Profits rolled back into crypto again. Portfolio is a shamble. That is unfortunate. Those are the 3 depressing Coinfessions of the day. Usually there's some positive ones mixed in there. Today we got nothing. The market was a little too positive last night. They had to tip the scale back. Kobayashi letter 4 hours ago, the stock portfolios of Americans' richest are underperforming. The ratio of the Bloomberg U.S. Billionaires Investment Index to the S&P 500 is down to 4.41, the lowest since April 2025. This index tracks the top 50 U.S. listed stocks held by U.S. billionaires. The ratio has fallen minus 0.04 points since December, marking a similar decline to that during the March-April 2025 trade war. Historically, such declines relative to the S&P 500 have preceded stronger equity market performance. This is because the index is heavily concentrated in a small number of mega-cap stocks, and once those names underperform, most of the downside pressure has already played out. Is the market setting up for another rally? Well, before we went from 0.44 to 0.4, now we're going from like 0.45 to 0.41. I feel like that's entirely possible. Let's see what happens. U.S. job market is weakening. 3 hours ago, Kobayashi letter posted the number of unemployed Americans for 15 plus weeks is up to 3.3 million, the highest since September 2021. This figure has risen 1.6 million since July 2022. As a percentage of total employment, this indicator is up to 20.3%, the highest since October 2021. Since the 1950s, each time this percentage has been this elevated, the U.S. economy was already in a recession. As a result, the average duration of unemployment is up to 25.3 weeks, only below the post-pandemic 2021 levels and the post-2008 financial crisis recovery. Long-term unemployment is concerningly high. Lunar Energy said, just do it like institutions and invent an asset as an investment vehicle and avoid auditing the collateral. I still say if we get another financial crisis, it's going to come from insurance. Yeah, that sounds right. Consolidated equity positioning. President Trump, NATO wasn't there when we needed them, and they won't be there if we need them again. Remember Greenland, that big, poorly run piece of ice? Oh, man. He's rambling, man. I'm telling you, he's fishing for 25th Amendment at this point. Everyone was preaching it the other day. That was crazy. U.S. housing prices are moving higher again. The median sale price rose 2.1% year over year in the 4 weeks ending March 29th to $391,000. The largest increase in a year. San Francisco is literally filled with poop. Detroit went up 10.1%. What? Cincinnati up 8.7%. Milwaukee 8.7%. Baltimore 6.9%. Damn, what the hell, Detroit? That's where I live. Get out of here with your increases. Since February, median sale prices have surged 15K or 4%, the biggest increase for this period of the year since 2023. Furthermore, the median asking price rose 2.5% year over year to $424,000, near the highest on record. Meanwhile, the median monthly mortgage payment rose 0.3% year over year to $27.42 per month at a 6.38% mortgage rate, the first increase since October 2025. Housing affordability is deteriorating. Yes, it is. U.S. services sector is signaling stagflation. The ISM Services PMI fell 2.1 points in March to 54, missing expectations of 54.9. Meanwhile, the employment index dropped 6.6 points to 45.2, the weakest since December 2023, and deep in contraction territory. On the other hand, prices paid surged 7.7 points to 70.7, the highest since October 2022. As the Iran war drove energy costs higher, the economy is caught between rising prices and a weakening labor market. Higher inflation is coming. Turn on the printer. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for the news segment. Let's see if Watcher Guru has any news for us since the end. Nope, nothing new. Well, Treasury Secretary Bessent calls for Congress to pass crypto market structure legislation before it's too late. Time is scarce, and now is the time to act. Pump my bags, Bessent. Pump my bags. Let's see what happens, man. Market's pretty boring. I do like the stock market being very close to all-time highs, at least the S&P, and holding up. Let's see what happens, man. Are we going to get continued ceasefire? I don't know. Ask Grok if it thinks XOLs are toxic assets that could leak into a credit crisis. All right, let's go see what Grok has to say. Well, actually, let me do this. Do you think XOLs are toxic assets that could leak to a credit crisis? Leak or lead? Let's see. See what Grok has to say. Yeah, market's been boring. It was great yesterday. Yesterday was a ton of fun. Let's see what happens, man. What do we got on our current poll? You guys think XRP? Really? All right, I'm going to end the current poll. We got a total of 13 votes. I asked you guys which one you have to pick has the most potential to flip ETH. 31% of you guys said XRP, and then the rest are tied. 23% BNB, 23 said Sol, 23 said Hype. We got a total of 13 votes. No, XOLs, excess of loss insurance contracts, are not toxic assets, nor do they pose a meaningful risk of triggering or leaking into the broader credit crisis. XOLs are a standard non-proportional form of reinsurance, also written as XOL or excess of loss. In simple terms, they let primary insurer transfer only the tail risk, the portion of losses exceeding predefined threshold, the retention or deductible to a reinsurer up to an agreed limit. This can be structured per risk, per occurrence event, single catastrophe per aggregate, or catastrophe cover. It's common in property, catastrophe, liability, workers' comp, trade, credit, insurance, and more. The ceding insurer keeps the more predictable working layer of losses, while the reinsurer handles the severe low-frequency shock. Why they differ from 2008, opacity and risk pricing. 2008 hid correlated risks, interconnectedness, and leverage. Banks in 2008 were over-levered and chained together via derivatives. Reinsurance cession rates are low, typically less than 10% of premiums globally. Recoveries are collateralized or regulated for credit. Regulatory treatment, insurance/reinsurance accounting. Tests requires genuine risk shifting. Regulators focus on solvency, not the fire sale dynamics that froze credit in 2008. Could they contribute? Unlikely. Here's why. They mitigate rather than create distress. Market pressure exists, but they're contained. The XOL market faces challenges. Not the asset side issue. Broader concerns about insurer are real, worth watching, but those relate to investment portfolios, not the XOL contracts themselves. Traditional XOL is risk transfer focused, not funding arbitrage driven. In short, they're a prudent risk management tool that has operated for decades without causing systemic blowups. Regulators and industry analysis post 2008 explicitly distinguishes them from non-insurance activities. That did create problems. If anything, robust XOL capacity makes the financial system more resilient to shocks. If you're referring to something else, compared to 2008 toxic specifically, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Lead, sorry. I think Grok understood. This is somewhat complicated, but most insurance is actually handled by reinsurance companies that exist outside of the United States. Grok tried his best. XOLs can't be audited. They made it illegal. Oh, damn. All right. Gotta love it. Bitcoin's getting a little bit here, 71,131. I'm going to call it an evening. I got a dong space to catch, and I want to get some cereal in my belly. So, I suppose we call it. Guys, as always, when the market starts to do anything crazy, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Wednesday, and good night.